In-person events are amazing, but while you're shaking hands, be thinking about ways that you can grow your email list. I had the pleasure of speaking at a women's conference and on a business panel locally, and I want to walk you through a few strategies that I use to help grow my list. Without further ado, let's hop in. Before I hop in, I want to give a quick shout out to Joanna for inspiring this video. She engaged with me on a LinkedIn post about this topic and gave me the motivation to expand on that in a formal YouTube video. So if you aren't connected with me yet on LinkedIn, the link is in the description. Why you need to build a list. We all know the feeling. You meet 10 to 20 new people, you walk away with a stack of business cards, you intend on following up, but you're exhausted, so sometimes you do, and sometimes you don't. A couple days pass, and then you notice what's happened. Crickets. This doesn't happen all the time, but it's definitely not uncommon. So how can we change this? How can we leverage live events to build our email list so that you can nurture the leads weeks after an event and take the pressure off of making the sale immediately? Now, you have to give people a reason to get on your email list. People are going to look you up on their own on LinkedIn or Instagram to stay in touch, so you don't need to funnel them to yet another lead generating platform. What you need to do is get them in your ecosystem so that you can deepen your relationship with them. Recommended tools. To get started, you'll want to have an email marketing software, and I recommend Flowdesk. On top of having that software, you will need a professional email address. So if you are starting from scratch, make sure that you create an email address associated with the domain of your website. So whatever you want at your website. You cannot send mass emails from a Gmail. After that, you want to create a free resource, and I highly recommend using Canva. A PDF resource is a great way to get started, and you can also use Canva to create a QR code to drive traffic to your form. Now, in my case, I like to embed my Flowdesk forms on my website, and my website is hosted on Squarespace. You definitely want to have a website for your business, even if you choose to use full page forms. So I highly recommend using Squarespace or using Showit. Both of those are easy to make updates on the go. Now, finally is a new app that I've heard about recently called ManyChat. And like I said, people are going to pursue you on their own on platforms like Instagram or Facebook. So you can create an account on ManyChat that essentially responds to DMs with links to sign up for your email list. So if you want to do it automated, you can use a platform like ManyChat. Otherwise, what you are going to need to do is to drive traffic to your full page form or to your website so people can opt in for your free resource. What strategies have worked for you? Now, 4 strategies that I've tried in the past are printed handouts with a giveaway, a landing page with a custom link, business cards with a QR code, and text campaigns with lead digits. So with the printed handout, I actually created one of those for the women's conference. And as I spoke on stage, I gave people a 1-page handout for them to take notes on while I was speaking. I also incorporated an Instagram giveaway into my presentation, and a QR code was on the handout itself. So I used the printed handout to market my link to my freebie, but also to be a resource for the presentation. I don't typically like to print things out, and so I tried to keep everything contained in one page, and that was designed in Canva. Now, a landing page with a custom link is the strategy I typically use, and I use that for the business panel. I created LaShondaBrown.com/businessmatters and created a landing page with a form embedded at the top to make it easy for people to opt in for my free resource. I intended on making a freebie for this event, but I ran out of time. So instead, I decided to bundle together 2 of my popular free resources. And so that is what people received when they signed up with the form. Another strategy is using business cards with a QR code printed on the card to drive traffic to your link. And the last strategy is the text campaigns. I actually set this up for a client. They would travel around speaking at different conferences, and to get people on their email list to download their free devotional, we would have them text a number, and when they did, lead digits would respond with a message asking people for their email address, and then they got on the list. So instead of just collecting business cards from people that you meet at networking events, try to offer them a free resource, because ultimately, you're only going to have so much time to conduct a conversation with them. If you get them on your email list, you can nurture them for weeks and weeks to come, and so that is why this strategy is so powerful. Email sequence. You don't want to end the conversation after someone downloads your free resource, and you also don't want to put them immediately on your email list like a typical subscriber. Make sure that they're put in a separate email sequence first, and then given the option to move over to your community for regular communication. Now, that is something that I learned the hard way over time, and you want to make sure that people you meet at live events don't immediately get dumped into regular communication because they don't know you that well. So when you segment them off and you come up with your own email sequence, you give yourself time to explain who you are and why you do what you do. So here is the sequence that I set up for my last event. When the subscriber fills out the form, I tag them as Business Matters 725, just in case I do more than one event with Business Matters. That way I know specifically which event they came from. Then I redirected them to a thank you page and sent them an email immediately with the bundle for the event. 24 hours later, I sent them an email with 2 videos that I highly recommended to help them be more productive working from home. And finally, 1 week later, they will receive one last email asking them if they want to be added to my weekly email, the Bootstrap Blast. If you don't currently have email marketing software, I highly recommend Flowdesk. Use my link, LaShondaBrown.com/Flowdesk, to get a free 30-day trial and 50% off your first year. Until next time, ta-ta for now.